That's the main hydrostatic pump, and most of the splines are stripped. That's not good.
Let me take that out of there.
So we have a problem here. That shaft for that hydrostat pump, it's available from Case IH. It is $1,300. But no hydraulic shop or hydrostatic shop or anyone who is able to rebuild this pump or replace that shaft is not going to want to just replace that shaft. They're going to want to rebuild the whole pump, which isn't bad. It worked until the moment that the spline sheared off. It was working just fine. No issues. The cost of that's about $3,500 and a minimum of 10 days, but probably more like 3 weeks because we're in harvest season now, and somebody else somewhere else probably just did this to theirs too. So we came up with about a $20 solution to fix this several $1,000 problem. Our proposed solution. Here we have a David Brown PTO reversible shaft. We got the 21 spline, 1000 RPM. We got the 540. This is off a 1410 PTO housing that we had over in the barn. This happens to be 21 splines, just like small 1000 PTO. The thing here is a 21 spline PTO collar like you would put on an implement. That was like $16.95 at the local New Holland dealership. This is the hub that goes on here. Dad took this on the lathe already, notched this out so we can weld that. We're going to weld that up, and what that's going to do is the splines on this are decent, but they were stripped out kind of out here at the end. Splines on this are brand spanking new. They are from China, but hey, sometimes you got to work with what you can get. That is going to allow this to slide on there further where there's still splines and hopefully get us another, I don't know how many thousand hours this has on it. So that's that. We're going to weld that. We're not going to show the weld too much on the internet because if you want to start an internet argument, you show pictures of welding or videos of welding. And nobody wins in internet arguments. It's going to be farmer welded or a little better. It's going to be good enough for what it is. It's going to go on there and it's going to behave just like it was. And so that's our setup. We're using this to hold those in line because those fit on there pretty tight. It'll hold them so the splines line up so it will go on there good. Another trick we're going to use, JB weld. No, we're not JB welding that. We're going to JB weld the bolts that hold this into there because two of these bolts you can't reach from the top of the machine where you have to work on this from, and this is like 9 feet off the ground, so there's really not a way to get up underneath and put the bolts in. You can't get your fingers there because there's other stuff in the way. You'd have to get them up between this and that with other stuff around it, and it just isn't going to happen. You can get a wrench to them, but that's it. We're going to JB weld the bolts to that so they can't fall out while we're trying to assemble it. That's our little solution there. So for $16.95, a little bit of time and welding and running the lathe and a couple sticks of welding rod, we're going to save ourselves 10 days to 9 days to just shy of 3 weeks, which it would take to get that fixed, and somewhere between $3,000 and $3,500 just by doing a little thinking. So we have the housing and the spline section back in here. Don't have the pump back in here yet. We decided we should change our belts because we decided we better do it now because you have to pull the pump to do it. And there's another belt which was looking pretty bad, but you have to pull this belt to do. So let me get my camera in here. There's our collar with our new splines in the end of it that reach out further. Turn my flash on. It's not super pretty, but it's not coming off there. He welded it up pretty good, and then turned it down on the lathe to make it smooth and easier to get the bolts in. So that should be the end of that problem until it wears out the splines again, and which gives us time to figure out where to get one of those valves done, or valve/pumps done. And for reference as to where that lives. Ooh. Yeah, there's a thing there. Don't hit your head on that. It's right there, and that's as high as I can reach. It's a ways up there. There's our rope we used to let it down with. Yeah, it's kind of up there.